Good morning or good afternoon, Tigers. Today we'll be watching a Quizzette video on Quizzette 729. Please make sure you write your last name, comma, first name, today's date, and you circle the appropriate class color. Monday, number 1 and 2, or number 1 and 2 for each day, is going to be a scenario, and you have to decide if the scenario is biased or unbiased. So what the definition of biased is, in a nutshell, it just means if it's fair or unfair. So go ahead and underline the word biased and write unfair somewhere around it. So now let's read the question with that in mind. Vondra tossed a fistful of silver coins into the air, then picked up the 27 coins that landed heads up. Is this sample of coins likely to be biased or unfair? So let's think about it. This girl has a fistful of silver coins. She throws it up in the air, and as it lands, all the ones that are heads, she picks up. So that's pretty random, and it doesn't seem that it's unfair, so it's not biased. So it's a good sample. So I would say that this is not an unfair survey, so no. Now, if she was throwing them up maybe like 2 at a time, maybe a certain way, that might be unfair or biased. Let's look at number 2. Devin surveyed the 27 youngest students in the elementary school. Is this a random sample of the students in the school? Think about that. Is that fair or unfair? That this person surveyed the youngest students in a whole school for the survey for the whole school. That's pretty unfair. He's not going to get a good sample, so it's not a random sample. So is this a random sample of the students in the school? No, it is not. Now, the SMP that you're using here is your reasoning abstractly, and you're looking for patterns in a way. So I would write SMP2, reason abstractly, and quantitatively. You can write the rest. Number 3, it says, students in introductory chemistry are recording the masses of samples as part of a lab experiment. For 6 samples, Bridget has recorded these masses. Here are the masses. We have 7 grams, 6 grams, 6 grams, 4 grams, 2 grams, 9 grams. What is the mode of the masses? So if you remember, mode means the number that you've seen the most. I only see 1 7, I only see 1 4, I only see 1 2, and I only see 1 9. So the number that I see the most of is 6. So the mode is 6. And here you're looking at patterns, so I would say SMP 7 with the quote. Number 4, it says, for the following box and whisker plot, what is the interquartile range? If you remember correctly, the range for the sequence of numbers would be the maximum minus the minimum. But if you look at your math notes, the interquartile range is the maximum inside of the box minus the minimum of the inside of the box. Or you could say Q3 minus Q1. Let's go ahead and label this before we even answer the questions. So this is my max. This is my minimum. This is the first quartile, Q1. This is Q2, or the median. I'm going to draw an arrow and write median. Go ahead and write this as well. And the last dot, or the closing of this box, would be Q3. So the interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1. And in this case, what is this number? So if we are observing our number line, it's broken down by 5s. 80, 85, 90, 95. So here I would write 95 minus my Q1. And my Q1 is given to me. My Q1 is 80. 95 minus 80 is 15. So the interquartile range is 15. Now, what is the lower quartile? Q1 is also known as the quartile, or the lower quartile. So Q1 is the lower quartile. So that's 80, which is equal to 80. Now let's look at what is the maximum. Okay, that's so easy. Look at the tip of your box and whisker chart. It's at 100. That's the maximum. So the maximum equals 100. Thank you, Tigers. If you have any questions, feel free to look at your math notes. And for some of these, you can also Google. Thank you. Have a good week.